Hey, what's going on out there? You know what it is? Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia giving you another segment of Get Things Done. As you can see, I'm in the festive gear. You know what I mean? I do want to wish out there on behalf of Olympian Multimedia happy holidays to everybody out there. I hope you had a safe holiday, an enjoyable holiday with your family. So in today's segment, since it's been a little bit since we did something for Get Things Done, in this particular segment, we kind of just want to reiterate some things and kind of go back in time a little bit on some concepts that we discussed on earlier videos and kind of just elaborate a little bit more on them. In this particular case, as you can see here, the studio setup, specifically when it comes to music. And I just wanted to explain to you viewers out there about the basic outline and formatting and just the basic setup and structure of your studio, that it doesn't have to be as elaborate as you think it needs to be in order to produce great music. As you can see here, it's quite a bit of different types of devices and equipment and instruments and so forth. But trust me, you definitely don't need all these things in order to make great music unless it's within your budget, unless you're expanding your operations, so to speak. In this particular case with Olympian Multimedia, if you notice, I have to have two different workstations. Uh, my partner in crime, shout out to JSO, aka Alpha. Um, it's not here, but we need the two workstations so that he's over here doing what he needs to do. I could be over there doing what I have to do, and then we kind of combine forces on what we're working on. But in this particular case, just to give the basic layout of a studio, as you can see here, I have the traditional workstation keyboard. I have a MIDI keyboard as well. Um, you notice here as well, I have the Mixpad, have a sequencer here, also a DJ controller, and audio interfaces. So to let you know that for a basic layout of, or at least to start up your studio, it would probably be in your best interest to start off with some type of keyboard. It's great to use keyboards because they offer an ability to create melodies on the fly. So you either use the traditional one, workstation keyboards, or just use the MIDI. The differences being is that MIDI is straight inputting it into the DAW that you're using. Remember, DAWs are digital audio workstations, or a fancy acronym for music editing software. You're basically, whatever you're submitting onto your DAW, you're manipulating them sounds, the different types of loops and synths and VSTs that you're using. You're manipulating them by use of the MIDI keyboard. So whereas with a traditional one, you're basically just playing out the keys in raw format, so to speak. But it would be good to start with some type of keyboard just to offer you that melody. It's great to use pads. Pads are great for making drum patterns, also helping with the bass line of your production. So I definitely recommend either that or a sequencer. You'll have the ability to do both using one. If you're able to use both, it's great. Or you're able to, if it's within your budget, to go ahead and do that. Definitely, I recommend that. But definitely, at least have something with pads on them, a mix pad. This particular one you see here accompanies the Akai MPC Studio, which I definitely recommend. The main thing that I recommend with this one is that it has the touch grip on here, which allows you to differentiate the texture within your beat on the fly. But this basically controls the entire DAW if you happen to purchase that. Having a DJ controller is definitely optional. It's not so much recommended. I definitely use one because they're great for remixing beats. But if you're not looking really doing a whole lot of remixing and so forth, or maybe you just want to rely more on the software, then that's just an optional thing. It's not really necessary. But it's great if you have, again, some form of keys, some form of pads. And also, you can't forget the audio interfaces, because that allows you to plug up different mics, obviously plug up different equipment to it. It definitely has different parameters on here to control the inputs. Has different outputs as well, again, for you to plug up your studio, the different types of equipment that you have. This particular one I have is Presonus Studio 24C. I definitely recommend that. It's great, very intuitive, easy to use. It instantly syncs to whatever DAW that you're using. But Native Instrument also provides one, the Complete Audio 2. They actually have two other versions that are a little bit bigger that offer more outputs. I definitely recommend this as well. It's pretty easy to use as well. But you definitely need an audio interface if you're going to align yourself with more than one device. You need basically a centralized hub in order for you to access all these things. But if you notice here on the screen that accompany the equipment or the hardware that you got, you obviously need software. My recommendation to you guys is to set yourself up with a DAW. The one that I particularly use is Cakewalk. It's made by BandLab. The beautiful thing about this is, I think I mentioned in an earlier video, it's free. It's absolutely free. And it offers pretty much all the components that you would get with any other type of big time DAW that you could think of, like Ableton, Reason Plus, Pro Tools, Big Wig Studio, so forth and so on. This is my go choice for my DAW, my personal DAW that I use. And it's just, obviously you're going to need something to go ahead and record your music. This is great also too for vocals as well. Unlimited tracks, and again, it has all the components that you need to go ahead and produce. To accompany the DAW though, you definitely need what are called plugins, and this is exactly what the word is. It's a plugin. It's a type of software that you literally plug into your DAW, and it utilizes other components that you can add into your production, whether it's different types of sounds in the form of sound packs, some type of loops, some type of synths, some type of different audio samples like box samples. A good one to use is, I just mentioned just a second ago, MPC Studios. They actually have the whole complete version or complete software. They do have a free version of it, which is a modified version for it that you can get. But this is actually the complete software. But the beautiful thing about this is this can be used as a standalone or as a plugin. So you can literally compose a whole beat on here as is, or you could accompany it with your DAW as a plugin. But as you notice here, my go-to plugins that I use a lot is Arcade, which is subscription based and offers all kinds of different types of loops. And then you have what is called Pigments, which is supplied by Arturia. And it's basically a modular synthesizer that offers all different types of synths and stuff that you can play right onto your MIDI keyboard. So that's my recommendation on there for your setup with your hardware, to have some form of keys, some form of pads, definitely at least one type of audio interface, the DAW, and at least a plugin, something that can coincide with the DAW that you're using. But check this out over here. On this side though, particularly, I have, this is the DAW that I use. It's Presonus Studio 1.6. It's a great plugin, especially with their new update, the new version that they got out. They really have added some things on here that allows you to really kind of master and really dissect your project to the simplest form, and it really tailors to what type of producer that you are, whether you're melody heavy as far as playing keys, or you depend a lot on pads, as you can see here. But this is a great DAW. And then to accompany it, I have Native Instruments, Komplete 14. As you can see here, one of the programs that they have on here is called Playbox. Native Instrument is outstanding. They have so many variety of different sound packs, different VSTs that you can utilize that really gives you that authentic sound that you're looking for. And as you can see, the hardware that accompanies it, you might want to tailor your studio towards something like this. Native Instrument provides their own hardware to accompany their software. Maybe that will be more easier for you in your setup if you decide to use this. This can be used sort of like a standalone, but you would have to implement this into a DAW if you want to go ahead and start doing some type of recording to it as well. As you notice over here, I got the Novation Studio that allows you to do the pads, again, to create the drum patterns and help out with the bass lines. But basically, you have to do what's comfortable for yourself. Obviously, budget comes into play as far as how much are you willing to invest into your studio. But if you notice, I have the keys, I have the pads, I have a plugin, and I have a DAW. That's your basic gist that you might want to try to aim for when you're trying to make your studio. But also pick something that you're comfortable with. I'm a big fan of Native Instruments. This workstation is a little bit more tailored to my partner in crime, Jaso. He's more into keys and making melodies and so forth. I'm more of the guy that just adds a little bit of different types of sound, different types of synths into the thing, into the production. And I definitely help out with making like the drum patterns and the bass lines toward our beats, adding like the little things like some snares, some kicks, some hi-hats into them as well. But if you're a producer but on your own, again, you have to do what's comfortable for yourself. Some people are more comfortable with pads, some people are more comfortable with keys. I just feel like you should give yourself the option and not hold yourself back. So when you're creating a studio, remember, have a form of keys, have a form of pads, have an audio interface, and on the software part, have a DAW of your choosing and some plugin to accompany it. So that's pretty much the gist of it, man. I hope this gives you some ideas, stimulate something in your mind. Best of wishes out there to all those who are looking to start building their studio. And again, this is Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia. And again, happy holidays to you guys. Best wishes, much blessings to you. And I guess there's only thing left to say things is get things done. Check you later.